Tampa Bay Lightning, Carolina Hurricanes going head-to-head here today into the NHL. Flyers, Canucks, and Blues and Golden Knights go head-to-head. The Blues, second half of a back-to-back for them after defeating the San Jose Sharks yesterday. Guys, welcome into Puck Time on WagerTalk TV. Andrew, Carmine, and Buster on the show today. Your favorite trio. I don't know if it is or not, but hopefully it is today. Here to break down some games and hopefully close the week off for you on a good note. So great to have Buster back on and great to have Carmine back on. As always, Carm, good morning to you. How are you? And what are your thoughts on that game in the Metro, Tampa and Carolina?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'll follow that up shortly, but good to be back after a one-day hiatus. I'm looking forward to see it, to watching this one. I'm not sure if I'm going to have any action on the game, Andrew, but you can still watch the games, I think, early on, and I'll have action on them just to see how these teams play. We're going to see how Carolina does. Again, every year we come out at the beginning of the season and we say, this is the year that Carolina has to prove that they can make it to a cup final. And every year they seem to fail in whether it is the divisional finals or whether it's the conference finals. And now they get a Tampa Bay team that, were bounced by Florida last year. The Tampa Bay team that's got a couple cups, but are without Stamkos. Stamkos looked good last night. If you guys watched the Nashville game, dear God, Stamkos back in his regular spot, just pumping pucks at the net, hitting the goalpost on a game-tying, which would have been a game-tying one. There's not much here. This line is right. I don't think it's high enough where you can say to yourselves, Tampa Bay coming into this one, they're a live dog first game of the season. We've seen a few shockers to start the season, and we've seen some teams do what they're supposed to be doing at the beginning of the season. That's why I always abide by that tread cautiously approach. And a lot of my plays have been like 1%, 2% with a few 3% mixed in there. Probably next week is where I'll amp it up a little bit because we'll have more data to work with. But Vasilevsky, Anderson starting the season. Can he stay healthy for the whole year? I get it. It was a medical problem last year with him. But each and every year, we say, especially with Anderson, is that, okay, they've got him for a full season now. But it's a Anderson 2 or 3 years removed from, the goalie that he was. Is he still the same? We're going to find out. Canes are so tough at home, and this is one of the reasons why I'm going to take sort of it's a variation of the Don Buster special, which I like to call, where he takes the puck line in the first period. I'm going to go the money line just because it is low enough, and I like the odds. It's actually a little lower than what the game odds are. The game odds on Carolina for the game are minus 140, take back on Tampa's plus 120. But you get the Canes first period, minus 130 on the money line. And that's where I'm going to aim here. I'm going to look for them to come out strong start in front of their fans. It hasn't happened with a lot of teams thus far in the playoffs, in the first week of the NHL season. But this is a Canes team that, again, plays so well at home. They don't drop too many games, and they don't fall behind early too many times. So with that said, I'm going to sort of go with a bit of a trend here and take the Hurricanes minus 130 on the money line. This one after 20 minutes. Obviously, if it's tied after 20 minutes, it's a push, and we move on to the rest of the game. I'm interested to hear what Mr. Don Buster has to say. Don, I know you've had some weather problems traveling back to Mexico. I want to thank you. For those that don't know, Don, he's a regular on the Wednesday shows. So we moved him to Friday to make sure we could get him in the first week. But we had lunch with the Braley brothers, a birthday lunch with the Braley brothers. I got invited to this lunch. These guys are eating tomahawks, lobster tails. They're drinking. I had to pick up my wife. I didn't do any drinking. But I had to leave early, and Buster looks at me and goes, I got you, man. I got the bill. Don't worry about it. So kudos to you, man, for picking up that bill. I really appreciate it. Now, with that said, Carolina, Tampa Bay, what do you got?
I'll just quickly comment. Yeah, you're more than welcome, brother. You know that. We go way back now with WagerTalk here. So always glad to see you, and always glad to have a good time like that. A little bit of a shit show, but that's okay. I'm with you, Carmine. I'm going to take I like Carolina at home to get the job done in the first game. And mentally, I think it's been a real tough week for Tampa Bay. Bottom line, right? With like you said, I had a little bit of a hiccup with the weather, but that's nothing, and I mean nothing compared to what's been going on in Florida there with Tampa Bay in that area. And again, mentally, I just wonder how Tampa Bay's will be in this one tonight. I think that plays in your handicap here. And again, Carolina has always, as you say, Carmine, has always been an excellent home club. And it's that first game of the season. The fans be going crazy there. And always like betting good home clubs first game of the season. That's for sure. And the line, as you said, is a pretty decent line. You did mention it's a new era for Tampa Bay without Steven Stamkos. And I think that plays in this too as well, because it's going to take a while to get adjusted to that. And again, with Tampa Bay just coming there, I think they've already canceled the game for tomorrow in Tampa Bay. So there's a lot outside of this game going on, which I believe helps Carolina. Now, I know Carolina, they've lost a few guys. There's no doubt about that, especially on the back end. They lost Pesce and Shea, although they still have Slavin and Burns. And Carolina is a really, really deep club. They have always been a deep club, and I think that is going to help them this year. Getzel's going to be on the other side of the fence, as you say, tonight. But I think they're deep enough to overcome that. You've mentioned, Carmine, always tread lightly here. Just again, it's the first couple of weeks. Just watch these games, see what's going on. One thing I will talk quickly about the total. I want no part of this total, but for people that want to bet the total, I'll just give you a little info. The under went 1-2 last year, and they're 3-6-1 the last 10 to the under. I definitely passed this total. I think Carolina is in a very good spot for this game.
All right, I like that. I like that take, Buster. I gotta say, thank you for you guys in chat, always tuning in, always dropping some absolutely great nuggets in our chat, and none better than Darth Sketcher, Andrew, who says, "How bad is the NHL for giving the Tampa Bay Lightning a game against the Hurricanes?" So,
Jeez,
that is actually pretty funny. Yeah, way to go, Darth. I love it. A little bit of laughter on a Friday when I think we all need some heading into the weekend. Andrew, what's your take on this game?
Guys, I honestly don't love this game. This is one of those ones I love as a viewer and as a fan of the game. But I think if I'm going to bet this one, I think I would look towards the under. Buster mentioned there could be some points towards the under. Carm, you liking Carolina, in my opinion, kind of correlates with the under a little bit. This Carolina team, they're not going to light the lamp up. They're not going to score 6 or 7 goals. They're going to play a Carolina home game. They're going to play a Carolina home style, get a lead, protected. When they have that last change, it makes a huge difference for them. And as Buster pointed out, Brady Shea and Pesce, losing those guys is a big deal. But not only do they have good defensemen, they have 200-foot forwards. They have forwards that buy in. And that's a big thing I've been buying into, guys, a lot lately when looking at totals, whether I'm betting unders or overs. It's not just about the blue lines. It's about, do the forwards, back check. And the Penguins last night are a perfect example. I think that not only are the Penguins weak on the blue line, they're weak, as far as the forward position and defensively, and that's the thing. It's that a team like Carolina, every single player on that team buys into defensive hockey. And, Carm, when you look at the Tampa Bay lineup, I still think that people are sleeping on them a little bit coming into this season, but it changes a little bit. Anthony Cirelli, second line center, Brandon Hagel, second line left wing, Mitchell Chaffee, second line right wing. Things change a little bit. A couple other guys now are going to have bigger responsibilities for this Tampa Bay Lightning team. Missing Steven Stamkos, we can't even paint the picture about how much of a different guys. I think we'll get a prototypical Carolina Hurricanes home game where they lock things down. And I saw a clip of Rod Brendamore talking in a training camp and preseason to his team, and I don't think any speech I ever see him say, guys, is about offense. Everything he talks about is team defense, protecting their goalie, protecting their own side of the ice. So yeah, we're going to lock in the under here, and hopefully we can cash some tickets. So we got some Carolina love coming in, some under love coming in. Carm must have dinner plans somewhere because he's going first period on the money. He doesn't even want to watch the full game here, guys. Carm with the first period play.
Yeah, I'm a little I'm still a little exhausted from yesterday, Andrew. I had some medical stuff that I had to take care of at the hospital, and it's got me. They knocked me out with some anesthetics, so it still hasn't worn off. So if I start calling Carolina the Panthers, you'll know why. But as far as like statistical data, when you look at these first period plays and you look at like last season per se, is that I'll normally try and find some really good nuggets. There isn't one in this game, trend wise, because last season at home, Carolina in the first period, and that includes playoffs, were 19, 12, and 16. So 19 wins, 12 losses, 16 pushes. So tied at the end of the first, minus a third of a unit. Tampa Bay on the road were minus 2.45 units overall on the season. So that data those two pretty much X each other out. Carolina is normally a bigger price at home in the first period, just because they're bigger favorites. So if you applied that 19, 12, and 16 to the current price right now, they would have been profitable last season. But obviously the case goes that is not the case here in this one. So with that said, I know our producer is anxiously awaiting what we're going to say about his Philadelphia Flyers, Andrew. So I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, we're going to jump into that, and knock on wood, guys. It's been a really good start to the year on PuckTime. Yesterday, Prez and I, some great picks. First period play on the Maple Leafs. So, guys, if you're watching, you're enjoying PuckTime so far, do us a favor and absolutely slap the crap out of that like button and subscribe to the channel. Hopefully, you're enjoying the shows so far here in this new season of PuckTime. All right, Buster, let's jump into the Philadelphia Flyers, Vancouver Canucks. My first 4% play of the season was on the over in the Vancouver-Calgary game. I actually fell asleep in the late part of that game, and I was shocked. I had no idea that Calgary won until I woke up the next morning. How do you feel about this game, game 2 for Vancouver and game 1 of the NHL for Matvei Michkov?
Yeah, well, Andrew, I actually stayed up and watched that game and was shocked at the way Calgary came back. And like you say, it is the first game of for the Flyers. And for me, because of that game, Vancouver comes here as like a 180, 185 favorite. Yeah, I want no part of that, even though Vancouver might be the play you might want to play in regulation. But I still, even then, geez, after that Calgary loss, how can you trust them? The defense looked bad. The goaltending wasn't the best. I know Demko's gonna be a while yet. I'm not sure how long before he gets back in the nets. And but then you got Philadelphia. They're picked to be one of the worst teams in the NHL. But truthfully, I'm not buying that at all. Really, I mean they played pretty good hockey last year. They fell off at the end of the year, but anytime you have Torts coaching your club, you know that team is going to be in the game. They're going to try. They're going to scrap, do what they can to win. That's just the mentality, and that's why I think you saw Philadelphia play pretty good for most of the year. I think at the end they just kind of weren't good enough, obviously. So I basically want no part of the side here. In this one, I do lean over in the. It's at 6 right now. I do lean over a bit only because of what I saw of Vancouver's defense, and Vancouver will score some goals. They play well at home. There's no doubt about it. That's why the line's this high. They're a decent home club, and but here's the problem with playing the over. These two teams, when they get together, they don't play overs. The last 10 games, 8 games to the under. Now, I know it's a new season and everything, and, I see Philadelphia for that first game, too. They want to start well because the scheduler must be pretty mad at Philly. There's another team that's coming up that they're pretty mad at as well. But who starts them off on a 4-game Western road trip, having to do Calgary, Edmonton, then I think they go to Seattle. That's a pretty tough road trip for the Flyers here. But again, I still lean over only because of the eye test of that first game. I know it's one game. I know it means nothing, but that defense on Vancouver is not going to get well quick. You know what I mean? And it's only a 6. But at the end of the day, I want no part of the side, that's for sure. And I do not see the total making my card as well. It's just one of those games that you might want to watch because it's late at night, and there's lots of games to bet all year, guys.
Yeah, Buster, it's going to be interesting to see here what they can do, as far as the defensively turning things around, after they – most teams in the NHL, you score 4 or especially 5 goals, you should probably win the game. Right, guys? I mean,
for
you
sure.
Score 5 goals, you hope you win. And, of course, they score 5 and they lose 6-5 into that one. Carm, I know that you, like myself, glance at the XG stuff. I'm going to try and pick my spots when I look at it and when I'm kind of just trusting the eye test this year. But I did see something about that game, Calgary and Vancouver, the numbers for Artur Shilov's, not really necessarily kind of matching up with the numbers on the stat sheet, pretty much saying that from one game to the next, if he corrects a few of those mistakes and makes a few more saves he probably would like to have back, then this team should be A-okay. What were your takeaways from those teams, or from that game one there for Vancouver? I know it's just one game.
Yeah, it's only one game, but I think it stamps to the fact that Shilovs was good during the towards the end of the regular season when Demko was out, and obviously Demko's out again, and I think they could rush Demko's back, but it's a season. You don't need him there for the first even month of the season. Bring him back because he's your go-to guy. You're going to need him. But he didn't look good, and it's a Lankinen in goal tonight, and we'll see what they have. The thing about the Canucks is the Canucks can score. And, at the other side of the ice, you have, I always say it, dude, I love John Tortorella coach teams. He gets the best out of sometimes the worst. They sort of tailed off at the end of last season, but my God, for the longest time last year, they competed, and they competed early on, and they were in one of the top 3 spots in that Metro a lot of the time. Do I expect that to happen this year? No, I don't. Urson's in goal. I think what happened with their goaltending duo last year took its toll, where Urson had to pick up much of the slack in that one. The total sits here at 6 over 15 in this one. And it's one of the ones where, 2 nights ago, the first period overs went, I think, 4-1. Last night, 9 games, it hits in 6 of 9 games. As long as you're not laying a big price, and we normally see, Andrew, I think we see halfway through the season, we start seeing the 155s, 160s, 165s on these over 1.5s. It's at minus 130. And it's not at minus 130 because they're trying to get you to bet the over and they're enticing you. It's minus 130 because it's the first week of the NHL season and maybe teams aren't in sync as of yet. The Canucks can score. I think the Flyers will get theirs. I like the first period over 1.5. It's one of those ones where you get those goals and you no longer have to sweat it. I went 1-1 in the NHL last night, and the game I lost probably pissed me off more than the game that I won. Because the Leaf game, I had over 6.5. It's 4-2 with about 13 minutes left in this third period. They even pull the goalie, and Austin Matthews misses an open net. Anyways, I've said enough.
Yeah, social media was going crazy.
Minus 130.
If you bet Austin Matthews to score a goal, which it seems like everybody likes betting that every single game, you're not happy over the last 2 games for him because he has more than enough chances. And, of course, the empty netter possibility was certainly there. Buster, you referenced the price in this one. And for me, even though it's early in the season, I'm trying to always look ahead, whether, today I'm already looking at Saturday. Saturday, we look at Sunday. Sunday, we might be looking at Tuesday already. I saw the over 3.5 team total for the Canucks yesterday afternoon at plus 100. One book I have actually had it at plus 105. That same book at this very moment has the team total over 3.5 minus 115 now. So not only is the money line moving, of course, the team total moving with it. And I'll tell you what, guys, this Vancouver team might be a team that if you're betting money on them, you might want to just look at the team total. I'm not saying they can't win defensive games, but wouldn't it be nice to take Philadelphia out of the picture? Wouldn't it be nice to not have to lay a puck line, to not have to worry about overtime and take a regulation and watch them win 4-3 in overtime? To me, this is a good team totals game, taking Vancouver up and over 3.5. And I like Carm's play as well, because you know what? Vancouver are fast starters. Vancouver, very similar to a Vegas team. Like, their first periods are always action-packed. They're not really a feel-it-out type of team to start the game off. They want to get going, and they want to get going fast. I think both these teams actually are going to have respectable power plays. Obviously, a lot more so on the Vancouver side. But when I take a look at Philadelphia's roster here, guys, Michkov starting things off on the first line with Couturier and Konechny, Owen Tippett, Morgan Frost, Tyson Forrester. But after that, the team really, really drops off. The bottom six is something I don't really trust here for this Philadelphia team. Not that much talent offensively out there. And the question we have to ask ourselves, guys, what does the rookie phenom here have in store for his first game of the regular season? He looked good in preseason, but you got a really pissed off, probably, Vancouver team after choking away a lead at home in their home opener. And they're going up against a rookie who's on the top line for his team. And I'm curious, obviously, Carm mentioned John Tortorella. He's good at managing minutes, taking care of younger players. But I'm real curious to see how things work out. I think it's a tough spot here, guys. I really do, for Philadelphia to be playing their first game. I will say one thing, though, because I had a play yesterday on the LA Kings, and I figured that the Sabres would be a popular play because, hey, they can't lose 3 in a row, right? Well, I'll tell you what, guys, the Canucks say they can't lose 2 in a row, right? They very well could, and it's something that people should be very careful about because, it's never a good idea early on in the season to use the motto of, this team's not going to lose 2 in a row. This team's not going to lose 3 in a row. We always say that, guys, and the do factor and the bounce back factor is not a good enough handicap. But to contradict myself, in this instance, I think the Vancouver Canucks bounce back and do get the job done. I think it's a good matchup for them against the Philadelphia Flyers. All right, guys. Before I jump back to Carm, because I can see him leaning forward like Teddy, like he has something he wants to add to me a little bit, maybe. No, you don't got anything.
I got nothing.
Okay.
I got nothing, man. I got nothing. I'm reading some of the comments in chat.
Your Sergeant Schultz.
One guy lost a bet yesterday with a missed layup. That's actually worse than Matthews missing from like center ice into an empty net. This guy missed a layup, which even Don Buster, well, okay, maybe not Don Buster. Andrew, even you can make a layup, man.
I can make a layup.
You are 7'2". So
I'll tell you what, I played basketball last night, and I think the only thing I hit was layups. I think I might be an 0 for 6 from the field, so I might be only a layup guy from now on these days if I can't shoot anymore. But yeah, the chat box is bumping right now. We appreciate all of you guys. You can find all 3 of us over at WagerTalk.com. We've got all kinds of stuff going on, all kinds of specials every day. And this is actually the last time you guys will hear us on PuckTime mentioning the Puck 15 special. Puck 15 will take $15 off an NHL 7-day pass. You guys can use that promo code PUCK15. Off to a plus 11 unit start to the season, guys. 5-1 in the NHL. So if you guys want to jump on board, you don't want to go ahead for a year pass or a 30-day. Puck 15 will take $15 off a 7-day NHL pass. Buster, what's going on with you these days? I know you're at the CFL. You're always crushing that league. You know I love it as well. NFL, college football, and NHL. What's new with you?
Yeah, Andrew, I've got a big CFL 5%er up this weekend on Saturday. Things are going well. I had a little bit of rough night last night. Actually, would have probably had an okay night. I also had the Toronto New Jersey game over 6.5, and Carmine, it was actually 4-2 after the second period. So again, that's a tough one for everybody that had that. But yeah, things are going well. NFL's 8-2 last 10 in NFL. So things have been going well. Like I say, little bump in the road last night, get them back tonight. But we do have a 5% play in the CFL. We're having a great year in the CFL this year again. We are number one lifetime in 5%ers, and we're also number one lifetime overall in the CFL. So if you're into CFL or if you just like winning money, go grab that play.
Awesome, guys. Make sure you grab Buster's 5% CFL play. Some good games this weekend, Buster. And sometimes I love the meaningless games, too. Like the games with two teams that are already out of the playoffs. It's going to, they both have nothing to lose. We got two teams battling this weekend in that mindset. Carm, of course, as I mentioned, that PUCK15 promo code. Last day, we're going to mention it. Next Monday, we'll have a new one. They can use that over at your page. But what do you have going this weekend?
Yeah, a couple NHL up for tonight. A couple Nations League games. Had a 4% best bet yesterday that won very, very easily. Another one going today. Hopefully we can do the same. And then we head into the weekend. Have a big college football play. 8-1 college football run. Have a play up on Saturday. Just one play. I think it's going to be a blowout. And then NFL card. A couple plays are already up. Including a 5% play. So I'm looking for a big weekend. Even that 3-day all access will get all of that. And then they have that great deal going on at WagerTalk right now where you pick up a 30-day all access. You can add 30 days for $99 and it knocks it down to $6.63 a day. And you're going to get a lot of action from me. Of course, MLB, college football, NFL, and NHL, and of course, soccer. So if you like sports, that is a great deal as well too, Andrew.
Love it. All right, guys. Again, wagertalk.com, all of our best bets and favorite plays. We're here giving out free picks every single day. And PuckTime been going so far, so good. Results-wise, as far as the picks we gave out on the show. Game 3 and the final game we'll break down here, guys. Vegas and St. Louis. As I mentioned off the top of the show, St. Louis, second half of a back-to-back. And depending on who you ask, some might say, well, it's early in the season. Back-to-backs don't matter. Some might say, hey, this early in the season, back-to-backs could hurt more for some teams. And I'll tell you what, guys, I'm kind of in that belief because in week 3 or 4, you're into the mix of things. You're into it. You're back into the season flow. I know these guys are in shape. I know they're healthy. But at the end of the day, your first back-to-back of the season, you feel it. You feel it. It takes some time to get your legs under you to get the season rolling. So I know it might be the first back-to-back of the season. And we're in the first week of the season, but the Blues will feel it after that game they had last night, and they had to come back against Macklin Celebrini and the San Jose Sharks, but they did it. Short and simple here, guys. Carm talked about an over 1.5 in the first period. This is the one I like here of the night as far as first period plays. I like the over 1.5 here in this one. Vegas always gets off to a fast start, especially when they're playing at home. St. Louis is a team very similar to me, actually, with how I feel about Calgary. They've got a decent and respectable offense, but a defense that I want nothing to do with. I don't think they have a strong defense. They're going to give up a lot of chances. And Vegas's speed is going to be real tough to handle, I think, even though it's early, guys, in the year on that second half of a back-to-back for the Blues. I couldn't have been more wrong about the Vegas Golden Knights and Avalanche free play that I said will go under. I think that game was over before they even dropped the puck. So I'm going to learn from that and go ahead and expect this game to start with some flair as well and go over 1.5 in the first period. That price is minus 130. I'll deal with it. I'll take that and hope for at least 2 goals in the first period in this one. All right, Carm, we'll go to you, then to Buster to close things out. Do you have a play for us in this game?
I do, but I gotta say, Andrew, as I'm listening to you talking, I'm staring out the back door here into my backyard. A hawk just landed on my chair. A hawk just landed on my. Is that a sign to bet the Hawks tonight? I know we didn't cover that game, but
live dog, maybe live dog.
It's crazy. Okay, so and I'm going to go back to like last season because I it's all we have right now. And you did mention, the Blues are playing their third and four nights. And early on in the season, it's one of those things where fatigue shouldn't be an issue. But again, Andrew makes a good point. Are these guys up to full speed, and are the legs there? The Blues had, and it was a tough one in San Jose, and it shouldn't normally be a tough one in San Jose, but it was a tough one. They had to come back from a 4-1 deficit after two periods, 3 goals in the third, and then win it in OT. And now they make the short flight to Vegas, but it's they're getting into the rooms at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's likely going to be like an optional skate for these guys before they play the Golden Knights. I like the under last time out with the Golden Knights, and that one pretty much blew up early. They just scored early and often, them and Colorado. But I do like the under here. And there's some supporting facts, numbers from last year, if you want to look at last year, because it's the only data that we have currently that we can go with. Last season at home, including playoffs, the Vegas Golden Knights were 26, 17, and 1 to the under, for a profit, I think, of about 7 units. And the Blues on the road, 22, 15, and 4, also profitable unit-wise and ROI-wise. So you get a couple trends that agree with each other with a couple teams. And the Blues, with Binnington back in net, he played in the first game, played very solid hockey, and he's in net tonight. He wasn't in net, obviously, in the last game, that 5-4 game last night. I'm going to go with the under in this one. Aiden Hill, he got a ton of offense from his team. He allowed 4 goals to Colorado, but he's a solid goalie. He's a solid goalie at home. I'm going to take the under in this one and hope that it doesn't blow up in my face. Buster, close it out. Tell us what you like.
Well, I am going to be against you on that under, but I do actually like Vegas as well here. But this St. Louis club, I tell you, this is a club that you'll be able to bet at home with some nice plus money all year. This is going to be, I think they're going to be a really good, scrappy club all year. But like you mentioned, they're playing their third game in 4 nights, back-to-back. What a great comeback last night. I was watching that game last night. It was the last game of anything that was on TV, so I had on a little TV, and I was appeasing my lovely wife and watching Big Brother on the top TV. So anyways, while I was watching that game, I kept watching them coming back and thinking, wow, this seemed like no give up in the St. Louis team, and that's going to be key with any NHL team. But again, now they come to Vegas less than 24 hours later, and that was an emotional win. So it has to be a little bit of a letdown and a really tough spot here for the Blues. I can't lay the 210 with Vegas, right? I'd like to find a way to bet them. So regulation could be a good play with Vegas. I'm not sure if I want to lay the puck line because, like I say, St. Louis has been playing good hockey. My patented first period, either on the money line or puck line, I think that's a good way to go with Vegas in this one. But I think the best play out of those, like I say, I do like Vegas. I do like it over. I like the over here, just because of because of the probably not the most conditioned team in St. Louis. We watched Vegas put up 8 against Colorado. We know that they do play well at home. Carmine is right. They trend under at home for the most part of last year. But it's the first week. We're getting a 6. And I'm just going to mention a little something that everybody here, you might want to do to start the year and then just like all year. But there's been 3 games that were back-to-backs last night. 2 of them went well over, no problem. The third was the one that me and Carmine lost that should have went over, no problem. So, could have been 3 for 3. So this is the 4th game of teams that are playing back-to-backs. Let's see how this over trend keeps going here. And like I say, just keep an eye on those things. See how these teams are doing back-to-back. Are they playing well? Does a back-to-back team win? Do they lose? Just keep track of that stuff. It will really help your handicap moving forward. But for me in this game, if I can find a way to bet Vegas, I probably will do that as well. And then probably my first period would be a good play on the money line or puck line, and I do like it over.
All right, find a way to take this Vegas team, but also looking towards the over in this one. So, hey, we were pretty kumbaya for the first two games, but some conflicting opinions here between the three of us on the last game of the show. It's going to happen. It's going to happen a lot, but I'm hoping all three of us can have fantastic seasons. And again, guys, all of our favorite plays, best bets over at WagerTalk.com. Smaller slate, but kind of a decent slate. Here in the NHL, but Saturday, you got to love the Saturday slates, guys. We're going to have picks and packages up and available. I'm going to have a video up actually later on today, giving out some picks on Saturday's NHL slate, but that will do it for today, guys. Again, if you're watching, you appreciate the content, hit the like button, show some love. We got to kick Prez and Teddy's ass. We got to get more likes on this show than on Wager Talk today. Help us out, guys. We need those likes. We need to get those numbers up, and hopefully we can get some numbers. All right, Carm, over to you. Close things out for us, brother.
All right. It's not puck time related other than Monday show. Everything returns back to normal next week, guys. Buster will be in his regular chair on Wednesdays. Brian Leonard returns. Brian Leonard is going to be filling in for me on Monday as well. So you'll see Brian on Monday and Thursday. Monday is, guys, this is the great thing for you guys in the US who don't know it. Monday is Thanksgiving up here in Canada. We get to celebrate two Thanksgivings. We celebrate our own, and then we watch football and celebrate yours. So we get the best of both worlds up here in Canada. I'm taking the wife to Niagara on the lake, a couple of wine tours, and then come back on Monday. And that's pretty much it, Andrew. So you got Brian, you got Prez, you got Buster, you got Brian. And you're going to have a great time with it. But I'll see you guys all again on Tuesday. Our regular segments will be returning shortly. We'll give it another week, and then the buy and sell and the 6 and 60 and the ladder challenge will return. So for myself, Don Buster, Andrew McInnes, guys, smash your books this weekend. Good luck. And that's it. We're out.